So quickly, let's just take up from where we stopped yesterday. So yesterday, we were able to look at some Excel tables, pivot tables. We got into pivot tables. We started our pivot charts. We talked about some formulas. We talked about the if formula, the if nested formula. We talked about what other formula. So quite a number of things we did yesterday. Then I showed you how to make how to schedule tasks using conditional formatting. So I'd just like to pick up from there. I'd just like to pick up from there and let's just continue the discourse. So for instance, if we're taking, hello, hold on. For instance, now I have this task schedule. I have the name of staff. I have the task. I have the status, if it's done or not done or in progress. Then I have the date the task is due. Let me just give this a little formatting. I like my work being clean and clear. So, that's good enough. Sorry. Okay, so let's say this is it. My name of staff, task, the status, and the due date. So you might not appreciate so very well the usefulness of this if it's just a little, maybe just 11 staffs with 11 tasks. What if you have over 100 staffs to manage and you have their tasks you've assigned to them and the status and the due date? How often will you go and be looking at each of them to know which one is due and which one is not due? So an easy way to do it is just to use conditional formatting and put color codes so that once anyone is due or once anyone is near due, you see the color and it will just change. So that's a very useful tool. So let's just go into it. So let's put conditional formatting for the status first. We want, if the task is done, the done should be green. If it's not done, it should show red. And if it's in progress, it should show yellow. So let's get that done. So I highlight my cells, I highlight that column. I go to conditional formatting. The first one says highlight cell rows. I go to highlight cell rows. I go to text that contains, because we are dealing with text here and not numbers. So I go to text that contains and I click on it. So you're already seeing, so done, I want done to show red, right? So format cells that contain the text done. So for done, I want it to show what? Red. I want it to show green rather. So green fill with that green text. I give that a click, okay. So you see not done is also showing green because not done contains done too. So I just go again, still highlighted. I go again, the same thing, highlight rows, text that contains, click on not done. I change it from done to not done. So not done, I want not done to contain red. So it's already positioned as red. So I give that a click, okay. Still highlighted, I go again, I click, highlight rows, text that contains, in progress. In progress. So I want in progress to show yellow. So I give it I select the yellow and I give it a click. So you see, done is showing green, not done red, in progress yellow. And if I update that across board, it just happens like that. See that? So you see that. So even if I go back, for instance, this one that is not done now, I go back and change it to in progress. It changes automatically. Maybe the one in progress, I change it to done. It changes automatically. So you see, the conditional formatting is a smart tool to use. So it just helps you organize your tasks properly. It gives more sense and more meaning to your task when you see it in this very pictorial way. So for the due date, also this is something I discussed. I was talking about my church, they run a library. So for the library, the books people come to collect, they use a normal notebook to write the names of people, the day they collected it and the day they will return it. And every time they have to start going through that list over and over and over and over again. For me, that's a very tedious process. I would rather just do this write the name of the person, the day they collect the book, and the due date for returning the book. And once it has gotten to that due date, the Excel automatically highlights that it's due. So there is a formula in Excel that is called the today's date formula. So it just equals to today. Let me show you that. Equals to today, and it returns the today's date. So as this thing is like this now, this is a formula. By tomorrow, if we come and open this worksheet in Excel, this date would have changed to 1505 because it's what is returning is the date of that particular day. So by next week, if we come and open this sheet, it will turn to, this date would have turned to the particular date of that next week that we opened the sheet because it's returning that very date. So we'll make use of this while doing this due date. So let's get to that quickly. So first of all, I highlight the cells. I go to my conditional formatting again. Conditional formatting. Highlight cell rules. Now I'm not clicking text that contains because now we are dealing with numbers, more specifically dates. But I'm not using a date occurring because I want to be able to highlight it in different places. So let me first of all say equal to. So any date that is equal to today's date, as I said, I'm using today's date. So equals to, sorry about that, equals to today. So I want today's date. Once it's that due date, it should show me green. Show me that that's what is green, green, green. So I click on OK. You can already see the ones that has today's date is showing me green. If I come now and open this thing tomorrow, this 1405 will no longer be showing green because it has passed the date. So let's continue. We highlight cell rules. So let's do the one that is less than. So let's do anyone that is past today's, anyone that has passed today's date. That means less than today's date too. Yeah, red. Red is cool. So we can see dates that are past today's date. Yesterday's date was 13th. It's showing red. On the 10th, it's showing red. 22nd of last month, it's showing red. As you can see, all other dates are after today. These ones are the ones that are past today. So with this, if it's for instance for the library management, you can already see that these dates, these people are supposed to have returned their books before today. The one that is green, they're supposed to return today. Then also let's add more. Let's add the one that are 5 days from today, like tomorrow to the next 5 days. Let's put that one yellow. I mean, that one is very close. Let's make it yellow. Till the highlight cells. So put text that contains in between. Sorry, not text that contains. So we'll put not less than now, not greater than, not equal to. We'll use in between. So I want to use in between equals today plus 1. Today plus 1. And today plus 6. So see that. So I want to highlight from today plus 1 will be tomorrow till 5 days time. So that's what I want to highlight. Tomorrow till 5 days time. So let's give that a yellow fill. You can already see that from here. You can already see that. So you see now, tomorrow's date is 15th, 17th, 16th, 15th, up until 20th. You can already see that it's already highlighted to show a yellow. Then the ones that are still greater than in 6 days time, let's give that another fill, maybe a blue fill. The ones that are greater than 5 days time, let's give that another fill. So let's just put greater than. Today plus 6, right? What color are we using? Let's do a custom color. Let's do a custom format. So let's say the font color let's do the font color to be um let's use a blue color for the font, and for the fill, let's use a blue fill. Okay. So we can see that the one that is still after 5 days from tomorrow, it's showing me blue. So this is very powerful tool to help you organize your data sets properly. So you can see that from here, I can just say, oh, I can just come down and look, oh, what tasks are due today? Green, I'll just go engage, okay, I'll just go, this one is also due today, Jane. So you could see, I can just know that these ones are imminent, these ones are almost closed, these ones are past. Oh, this ones I don't have to worry about this one now. It's not closed by yet. So do you understand? So it helps you organize your tasks properly. So this is just one thing I said we'll do today. So let's continue. Let's go to something else before we start. Before we go back to our pivot table, there's one other thing I want us to do. Last week I ran into a colleague doing something, and she was trying to collect the attendance for people that attended work for 2 weeks, and she was doing it through a very manual process. Excuse me, sorry. And she was doing it through a very manual process, and I thought, how stressful can this be? Why do you have to do this with this very manual process when there are better ways to do this? So let me just open up that table and let's see how we can do that. Just a minute while I share the so I told her to send me the Excel sheet while I work on something with that. So I thought it would be necessary to also use that to explain this class a little further. Yesterday we talked about the if formula and some other formulas. Talk about the right formula, the left formula. We talked about dates and all that. But there was one formula, and I used that formula very often, the count if formula. So I thought we should talk about the count if formula too. So let's go. I'll just use this perfect example to explain the count if formula. Okay, let's say, um, let me just fill this down. Just a minute, please. Okay, so let me just do from 1 to 10. Okay, let me leave this blank. Let me leave this blank. So let me just fill in blank names, just so we get ahead of what I'm talking about. Okay, okay. So this is supposed to be the attendance. For instance, this is the days of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday again, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, that's it. supposed to go up. Sorry, I'm just trying to. Okay, this looks good. Okay, so let's say I use P to indicate when someone is present, and I use AB to indicate when the person is absent. So let's say for Dan on Monday, present, present, absent, present, absent, present, absent, absent, present, 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 present. Cool. Present, present. So for who's the next? Mike. So let's say present, present, no absent, present, 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 present. For Phil, let's say absent, present, present, absent, present, absent, present, present, absent, 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 absent. Bond, absent, 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 absent. Okay, for Ramon, present, present, absent, present, 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 present. I think we should stop here because of the time. Present, 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 present. Okay, so let's say, imagine you have this for over 100 people, and maybe you have this for 1 month, and you want to count days present, and you have to come manually and be counting one by one. Present, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you write that. Absent, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you write that. And you have to do that for a whole lot of people. Now your error rates would increase, and of course it will be tiring doing a redundant task over and over again. So that's why we have Excel formulas. Excel is a smart tool. Why not just apply a formula and make everything easier? So I'll show you that in a moment. So let's use the count if formula. We'll use the count if formula here. So we are saying count if this particular range has this criteria. So we are saying count if this range has a particular criteria we're going to write. So count it if that criteria is in that range. So that's just what we are saying. So of course, in Excel, your formula starts with the equals to sign, and we write the count. It's already showing the different counts of the different formulas available that starts with count. We have the count A, count blank, count if, and count ifs. So we are doing the count if right now. So count if, open my bracket, you see it's showing me range. So this is already a tutorial on its own. So you highlight the range you want it to count. So count if this range has the criteria, if it has P. I put my P in inverted comma, and I close my bracket. So I'm just saying, count if this range has this criteria P, count it, and I click enter. You see that? Let's do that manually so we'll see if it's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I have my 9 here. So you see, we're just saying count if this range has this criteria P, and we have 9 here. So let's go to absent. The same thing, equals to count if this range has this criteria. What criteria this time? AB. And that is it. 4. See that? You just drag down and drag the formula down to meet others. See that? Very easy. Rather than wasting your time counting one by one, one by one, one by one, Imagine the number of the amount of time you would have saved just using this simple formula. And that is it, you have it. Now, let's go further. Let's say you're expected to put a certain remark for depending on their attendance level. You're supposed to put a certain remark. Yesterday, we talked about the if formula and the if nested formula. So let's apply that here. For instance, if the person has, let's say, if the person has above, we have 14 days. So if the person has above 7 days present, want to put punctual as the remark. But if the person has below 7 days present, want to put not punctual. So let's get that. So we use the if formula. So equals to if day present, this is my logical test. If this is greater than 7, then put, if it's greater than 7, if it's greater than 7, write punctual. Always remember to close your inverted commas when you open. Otherwise, now I'm nesting another if formula in this one. If again, my day present is less than 7 this time. Okay, here, let's come here. Okay, let's finish up, then I'll do that. So if it's less than 7 this time, then put not punctual. Close your bracket, close your inverted comma. Remember, we've opened 2 brackets. So do good to close the 2 brackets. This is the first one and the second one. Now, there's a little error, not kind of an error, but there's a gray line we missed in this formula. We say if it's greater than 7, put punctual. If it's less than 7, put not punctual. What if it's equal to 7? We didn't put any command for that. So let's change this greater than 7 to greater than or equal to 7. So if it's greater than or equal to 7, put punctual. But if it's less than 7, put not punctual. And let's give that a click. See, punctual. So let's just click that down. So you can see for the days 9 punctual, 13 punctual, 5 less than 7 not punctual, 0 less than 7 not punctual, 12 greater than 7 punctual. Okay, let's see a way to change this to 7 and see what it will give us. AB, AB. So if it's 7, you see when it's 7, it's still punctual. But once it gets to, let's say 6, it becomes not punctual. But if it's still within 7, if it's still within 7, it's what? Punctual. So this is a very smart tool to use. Just get along with it. Just try your hands in it and work on it. The count if formula is a very, very, very smart tool. I use that all the time when working in Excel. So let's go into our pivot tables where we stopped yesterday and just see some of the stuffs we have to do. So from yesterday exercise, if you followed everything we did, you should have something like this now. If you created all the pivot tables, I created one for you yesterday. So if you went ahead to create others, as I said you should, we should have something like this right now. So you see, we created these different charts from our pivot table, these different pivot charts. So let's just go ahead and before we go into Powerpivot, I want to talk about the concept of adding slicers to your pivot table. So let's just talk about adding slicers. So to do that, of course, I would like us to create a dashboard first and make this look neater. So let's just create another sheet. Excuse me. So let's create another sheet. Let's name this sheet dashboard. Okay, so let's just go ahead and cut our pivot charts from here and place it there. So let's just go ahead, highlight it, Ctrl X, cut, come here, Ctrl V, paste. I resize that a bit. Okay, so I repeat the same thing for all of them. Control X. Control V. I repeat the same process, Control X, Control V. I go back, Control X, Control V. Oh, sorry, Control Z, Control V. So you see, I've copied out all my pivot charts to the other worksheets. Let's just go there. A few things I can do with this. I can go to you see that I can go to page layout. Now, these lines you see in Excel that make you think Excel is a big table, you can just go ahead and take it off. That's grid lines, and take it off, and it will just be a plain sheet. So it might be more more presentable this way for some people doing your dashboard. If you want to, you can just go ahead and take it off and put it this way. You might find it more appealing this way. Just make sure it aligns properly. Okay. So you see, I have my dashboard right now. So I want to go ahead and add slicers to this. I'll still prefer to see my grid line. So I just want to go ahead and add slicers to this. So that I'll be able to, the slicers helps you more summarize your charts to help you cut down, to slice down into needed data more in a more summary level than what you have right now. So I'll just go ahead and add to my slicers. There's also what is called the filter in the Excel, in the pivot table. So you can also use the filter. Oh, sorry about that. Paul, hello?
Right on now, please.
Hold on, please. Sorry. Hello? Hi, good afternoon. I'm fine. Oh, Pastor, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Fine, sir. Sorry, sir. Pastor, I'll call you back now. I'm on a Zoom call now, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Hello. So let's go ahead and add some slicers to this table and see what we can make use of that. So you discover that when you click on the pivot chart, you get some more ribbons here that were not there, some more tabs here rather that were not there when you click outside. See, they are gone. But when you click on the pivot chart, you see the analyze, the design, and the format. So let's just go ahead and go to the analyze. And from here, one of the ribbon in the analyze, you can see it has the insert slicer. So let's just give that a click, insert slicer. I remember what we clicked on was this first pivot chart. So this slicer will be connected to this pivot chart. but I'll show you how you can connect that slicer to all the pivot charts too. So inside slicer, let's say for this I want to slice by, let's slice by year. Let's put the slicer by year and click on OK. So I'll just move that. You see? So there are different ways. I can decide to change the number of columns of my slicer. So it's on 1 now, so maybe 2. You see that 3, 4, 5, 6. If I want it to be more horizontal than vertical, I can try to put it this way. Just any way it's pleasing for me. I can try to do it like this. So let me just show you one of the beauty of the slicer. If I click on this now, you see, it's showing me the bikes for just 2011. If I click on 2012, I remember in 2011, we sold only bike. So that's why it's showing me that. If I click on 2012, the same thing, we sold only bike. 2013, you see, 2013, that was when we started selling accessories and clothing. So it's drilling down into the data. 2014, so I can just remove that back just by clicking here, and everything comes back. So one of the things about this pivot chart also is just a minute. Okay, let me add some more. So we can go ahead and add some more, what's it called? Some more slicers. So let's insert some more slicers. Okay, let's slice by, let's slice by the product. Let's slice by the product. Okay, do I want to do this? No, I don't want to slice by the product. I'll just delete that out. Okay, let's slice by age group. I think that's a good one. So let's slice by the age group. Yeah. Okay. Okay, perfect. Can we add some more? Let's add 1 or 2 more and see. Insert slicer. Let's do customer gender. Gender is cool. Okay, let's put this right here. 1 more. Let's slice by country and we'll call it done. Okay, so let's say these are the sliders we have. So remember these these 4 sliders we've done are connected to this chart alone. So that's why anything we click here, it will only change on this chart. You see that it will only change on this chart. Other charts will remain static because the slicer is connected to this chart alone. So the slicer is connected to this chart alone. So that's why all the changes are only connected. So what if I want it to be connected to all the charts? Once I click on any of these changes, it applies in all other charts across board. So we can do that. We can just get that done. So already we have this connected to everything, right? So this is already a chart by year. So I'll connect it to all other slicers except the year slicer. So I'll just go to filter connections. So you see all my slicers are here, the 4 of them are here. So I say I will add others except the year because this is already a year chart already. So there's no need to add in the year. So I'll just click on others to add them. Click on the other 3 slicers and I add them. Okay. So you see anything I do on this now, it also affects this second chart. Anything I do on this, it affects both of them. But anything I do on the year, it will affect only this one because this one is not connected. This slicer is not connected to this chart. So you see that it's a very smart tool. The slicer is another way to drill through your data. Just drill through the data. Okay, so let's connect others too. The same thing. You can just go to filter connections. This one is a chart by, sorry, let me just do that. Click. Okay, frame size. Okay, so this is cool. I can do this. Filter connection. I can just add all slicers to this chart. This is the age group. So there's no need adding the age group slicer to this, since this is the age group. So insert, sorry, I'm not supposed to insert slicer, filter connection. So no need adding the age group. So country, customer, year. I'll just give that a click. So let's try that. Let's give that a try. So for instance, if I click on female, you see that the charts are changing. If I click on female, make it smaller so we can see the full screen rather than having to drill through. Okay, if I click on male, you see that it pretty much changes. Just remove that. Let's drill by country. Australia, you see all the charts are changing. All the charts are changing once I click on the country, different countries. So that's the power of slicer. So those are some of the things you can do with your pivot table. Your pivot table is a very smart tool. It helps you filter through all this data and just a lot more you can do with your pivot table and your pivot chart. A lot more. So I'll encourage you to give this a try on your own time. Play with the pivot table, with the pivot chart, explore all the tabs, explore the analyze, the design, the format. Just get yourself familiar with everything here. And I'm sure you'll do much better than this even. So let's go to Power Pivot quickly and see what Power Pivot talks about. Okay, just a minute. So open the Excel file I sent to you titled Getting into Power Pivot. Getting into Power Pivot. So that's the example file we'll be using for this lecture. So what we have here is we have the record of the sales record and the employee record of for a particular period of time. So I want to really use the customer info and the other info to explain this. So for instance, we have some data of from customer info and from other info, but we want to be able to see how we can sync this data together and make meaningful insights from it. And of course, we know the data are connected because in customer info, we have the customer ID, and in other info, we also have the customer ID. So this already is a link to the two data. So we want to be able to get insights from off the data. For instance, we want to be able to link maybe say maybe the country of the customer and the country of the customer and the flight number, or the country of the customer and the order date, just something like that. Do you understand? So what, or the ship cost or something. So we want to be able to link these two data together to make meaningful sense out of it. So how do we do that? Power pivot is limited in that we can only get data from one table, but this won't be able to link two tables together to get data from it. So the first thing is to activate the Power Pivot tab on your Excel. So to activate this, simply go to File, click on File up here, click on File. Okay, so this is the example file we'll be using for the Power Pivot. So what we want to do is that we have some data on the customer info. We have some data up from the customer info, and we also have some data from the order info. Once we're able to link these two data together, once we're able to link these data together and make insights from them. For instance, let's say, and one of the reasons why we can do this is because we have data that are related in both of them. Okay, in the customer info, we have the customer ID, and in the order info, we also have the customer ID. So this is already a link for the two tables, but we can't do this in our normal pivot table because the normal pivot table is limited to just one table. So we can't, but we want to be able to link, to be able to drill through these two tables and get data from it. So for instance, we want to be able to say the contact name or the company name from this place. We want to be able to get the company name and link it with the say ship name or the freight number, or just something like that, or the customer country, the country, or the phone number, and link it with something in the order info. So we want to be able to link these two data together. And of course, we are limited in pivot table. We can't do that. So, but in Power Pivot gives us the opportunity to do such. So before we start, the first thing to do is to activate the Power Pivot tab on your laptop. So mine is already activated. You can see that, but I'll show you how to activate it on your laptop, how to activate the Power Pivot. So what you do is that you go to File. You go to File. On the far left-hand side, you go to File and you click on it. You click on File. When you click on File, you go down to the last, what we have there is Options. So you click on Options, and it will open this new window for you. So what you do is you go to Add-ins. You see where my mouse is, Add-ins. You click on Add-ins. Just give it a click. Mine is loading, taking longer than usual. It's taking longer than usual. It's not responding, but to load. Okay, so you click on Add-ins and it gives you this other interface. So what you just go is you go down where you have Manage. I mean, where you want to manage the add-ins. And what is here is Excel add-ins. You just click on the drop down and you change it to Com add-ins, Com add-ins, Com add-ins, and you click Go. When you click Go, it will open this for you. In your own, if Power Pivot is not activated yet, this thing will be unchecked. So what you just do is that you just check Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel, Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel, and you click on OK. And voila, you see your Power Pivot tab up here. So with the Power Pivot tab up here, we can now explore the many things we can do with the Power Pivot table. I'm sure you've been able to do that on your own. You've been able to activate the Power Pivot tab. So with that being activated, let's just go ahead and see what we can do with this. So I click on the Power Pivot tab and I click on Manage. You just click on Manage. I just want to show you something before we start. Mine is taking longer than necessary. Okay. So you see it's empty now. So I go back. Perfect. So anywhere on the customer info, that's the first one I want to do. So on the customer info, anywhere, I just go to add to data models, add to data model, and I'll just add, that means I want to add this customer info now to my data model. Wow, my laptop is unusually slow today. So what we have here is everything we have on the customer info. You see the Powerpivot, it open a new window on its own, which is quite different from the Excel. I'm sure you can't see that again. So I'll just record that. I'll just share that. I'm sure you can't see the Powerpivot again. So once I click on it, this is what it opens. You see that this is a new, entirely new window, not the normal Excel window. This is an entirely new window other than the one we were working on before. So it opens a new window, and you see everything that we have here is what we have on the customer info on the other one. Everything you have here is what you have on the customer info on the other one. So let's go ahead and see how we can link both of them. So now we've added the customer info to our data model. So what we'll just go ahead and do is to add the other info to our data model too, and then we'll take it off from there. So let me go back to the other screen too. So we go back again, the same thing. We click on the other info. We click on the other info. What we just do is that we just, by the way, you can go ahead and close the other one out. You can go ahead and completely close it. It doesn't change anything. So what we just do on this is that we just click on the other info, we just click on add to data models again.
I can't.
So if you notice what has happened here, the customer info and the other info has been added to our data model. Now we have the two tables here in our new window. This is an entirely new window, separate from our usual Excel, separate from our usual Excel window. This is entirely a new window, which is different from our normal Excel window. And now we have our two data, our two tables, the customer info and the other info added here. So what I'll just do is that we can just go ahead and create our Powerpivot from this. I'll just go ahead and create our pivot table from this. So from here, but before we do that, there's something we need to do. We need to link in this place. We need to link these two tables together. So the way we are seeing this now, we are seeing it in a data. We are viewing it as a data, the same way we view it in Excel. So we'll just go ahead and do is to come here. You click diagram view. You see now it's clicked on data view. So we'll come here and click diagram view. So when we click diagram view, we're trying to link the two tables together now. We're trying to link the two tables. So let's just drag this down. Yeah, let's drag this down too. So now you see that this we are now seeing the table in a diagram view, no longer in the data view the way we are seeing it. This is the customer info table and this is the other info table. So now what we'll do is that we'll link the customer ID here to the customer ID here to have a synchrony between these two tables, to be able to link the two tables together. And we'll just go ahead and drag, just place your mouse on the customer ID here, you left click and hold, and you drag down to customer ID here, and you leave it. And it will just create the link by itself. You see that
Awesome.
So once you see this here, that shows that it has created a link. That means you've linked this table to this table. That's just what it means. You've linked this table to this table. So we can just go back to our data view. So once we go back to our data view, these two tables are already linked together now. Now from here, we can just decide to create a pivot table from it. So we have one of the tabs here. We can see the pivot table here. You can just go ahead and create a pivot table. So it's asking you in a new worksheet or existing worksheet. Let's create it in a new worksheet. So new worksheet, okay. And you can see that you now have the order info table and the customer info table in one pivot table. So I can just go ahead and, okay, for instance, from order info, let's say I want to get the ship, let's say the ship name in columns. Yeah, just for instance, and I want to get the company name in my rows. So this is just an example of what we can do. Different thing we can do, or the customer ID, blah blah blah. So you can just go ahead and create different links from these two tables. Anything you want to create, you can just go ahead and, as long as you already have the table link, then you can go ahead and create different charts you want to create, different summary data you want to create from this table. That's just it about Power Pivot. So quickly, because of our time, let's go to macros and let's just see what we can do in macros. What we call it a day. So I hope you're able to understand a little about the Power Pivot. So this is it. You just link the two data together from diagram view. From data view, you change it to diagram view. After you link, add the data models, you change from diagram view, from data view to diagram view. You link the two together. Then you just add your pivot table, and that is it. So that is it. So let's go to one very interesting topic in Excel that makes Excel so easy and so sweet, and that is macros. Now, the macros is most useful when you have a particular. Now, the macros is more useful when you have a particular task you do repeatedly every time. For instance, let's say you receive a particular set of data, the same format every month from your database, and you have to do the same thing on that data every month. So what you just do with macro is that you just record a macro that records your process you do for this month, and next month you just play the macro, you just run the macro, and everything you did last month, it will repeat it for this same set of data you have. So rather than having to do everything again, for instance, you receive a particular set of data and you have to do addition on that data, you have to change the font, or you have to format the font or the headers. So that macro, once you just record that macro will do exactly the same thing on this new set of data, and you can use it over and over and over again. So rather than having to waste time doing the same thing over and over again for a particular period, or for every time, what you just do with the macro is that you just record the macro and it does it for you. It automates that process for you. That's what the macro does. So let's go ahead and let's see a bit about the macro. So you just go ahead and open the example file that I titled Working with Macros. So just go ahead and open that example file, Working with Macros. So I'm going to share my screen now. Working with macros. Yeah. So let's say this is a record I received from my database. And let's say I receive this particular record every time. And when I get the record, probably the thing, what I have to do with this record is, okay. Okay. Let me make this more. Just a minute, please. I'm trying to take off a particular segment of the record so I can explain better to you. Okay, let's say this is the record I receive every month from my database. And what I have to do is I have to add headers, I have to format headers, and also put an addition and add this prices together every month. So rather than having to do that every month, I just want to automate the process and have Excel do it for me. So what I can do is that I can switch on the macro and just record the macro and play it when next I want Excel to do that for me. So how do you do that? Before we do that, of course we can do that without this, but I want us to activate. This is just one of the ways to do that. Excuse me. So one of the ways we can work on macro is by going to the view tab. When we go to the view, we go to macros, open here, and you see view or record macro. But I want us on our laptops or on our Excel, I want us to activate the developers tab. The developers tab. Um, I already have it activated in mind, but I want us to activate it. The reason why is because we're going to be looking a little bit, we're going to have a sneak into the VBA codes. So the VBA, the Visual Basic Application for Excel. So the VBA, you can't do that if this developer is not activated. So I'll just show you quickly how to activate the developer on your Excel. So what you just do is that just click on any of the tabs in Excel. Say they just give it a right click. Just right click on any of the tab and you click customize the ribbon. Yeah, give it a click, customize the ribbon. So to open this window, so once you open this window, when you go here, you see the developer tab here, yours will be unchecked like this. So what you just do is that you just go ahead and give it a check. Just give it a click and check it. And you just click OK. And that's all. And that's all. And the developer tab will be activated. So having done that, okay, so I'm sure you've activated the developers tab on your Excel now. So what we'll do is that we'll just go ahead and record our first macro. So just give me a minute. I want to do much more than I want to do more than what we have here now. So let me just go ahead and take the total off first so that we can see that in a clear context. Okay, so I want to record my first macro. So as I said, there are different ways you can do this. You can come to view, you can go to macros, record macro, but I want to do mine for my developers tab. So my developers tab on the far left, you have what is the Visual Basic, you have the macros, and you have a record macro. So I'll just go ahead and give that a click, record macro. It will ask you your macro name. What's your macro name? So I'll just write, what name should we give it? Let's say format headers. So one thing you should take note of is that using your macro, you can't add space to your macro names. You can't add space. You can use underscore, but you can't add space. So let's give it a shortcut key. Let's say Control J. So be careful when using your shortcut key, so you don't get to use shortcuts already active in Excel. For instance, Control X, Control C, Control V, Control Z, Control S, and all that, because it will override it. So be careful when using your shortcut. So you can also you can also add shift to your cut short. If I want to add shift to this shortcut now, I'll just hold shift and press J. And you see that now my shortcut key will change to Control Shift J. But for the purpose of this, let's just leave it at Control J. So where do I want to store the macro? Now, if it's a macro you want to use for this workbook alone, you can go ahead and store it in this workbook. But if you know if it's something you use concurrently over a period of time for different workbooks that will come, then you store it on your personal macro workbook. And this will be on your Excel. So when you open any workbook on your Excel, you can apply that macro to it. But for this lesson, let's just use this workbook. Then description. Let's go ahead and describe what this macro is. So let's say so that if we have someone that doesn't know about the macro that picks it up, each person will know what this, and you maybe have more than one macro on your system. First, we'll know what this macro does. So this macro add headers and sums the total of the month up. So once I click OK now, my macro will start recording. And everything I do on Excel after that will be recorded. So I just give that a click OK. Now you can see it's showing you stop recording to show you that it has already started recording. And you see this small button here is already showing the stop button. That means your macro has started recording. So let's just go ahead and fill in what we want to fill here. So let's call this region. Let's call this activity. So let's call this January. Let's call this February. And let's call this March. So let's add one more, the total. The total. So let's go ahead and format this. Let's just add some little format. Let's make it bold. And let's format the color field to blue color. Let's use this. Yeah, this looks good. So let's just go ahead and sum the total up. Let's use our sum formula, our sum function equals sum here to here. Let's close the bracket, enter. So let's just drag this down. So we want our macro to automatically do this for us every month without we having to do it. So I think this is a good place. So to stop your macro, you can just click on this at the bottom here, this stop button, or you can go to view and click on macros and click stop macro, or just on the developers tab, you can just click stop recording. So I've stopped recording. That means my macro has been saved. So let's test it out. Let's see. Let's go to run macro. Now you can do this. You can run your macro in two ways. First of all, you can use your shortcut key, the Ctrl J, or you can just come to view. You can come to view and you see macros. You can come to view macros and you see our macro name, format headers, and you can just give it a click, run. You see that it added the headers and the total for us. So you can, even without doing that, you can just click on Ctrl J back and it will do all this for you. So there's another way we can do that. We can add a button to it. So we can try to run macro using a button. So let's see that also. Well, I think you should post it here. So when we come to developers tab, we can click on the insert and the first command here, you see the first button here is the command button. That's the button form control. We can just give it a click, then come here, highlight it, and open our command button. So it open this, button one click, format headers. I just click format headers. So that's what I want the button to do, to format the headers. That's the macro I want it to run. I click OK. And it shows me I can just go ahead here and change the name from button one to format headers. That's the name of our macro. Format headers. And that's it. So once I click on this button now, it does the same thing my Ctrl J does. I click on it and you see my headers and my total is added. So that's a good way to work on macro. So now this opens up to the VBA. For instance, what if you made a mistake while running your macro? Okay, let's say for instance, I don't want this total to show as total. I want it to show as TOT. I want it to show as tot. So how do I change that? So that's where we apply the Visual Basic. So let's just go to our Visual Basic. I open the Visual Basic. So this is the VBE, the Visual Basic Editor, the Visual Basic Application window. When I open that, I come down I see what is called the modules. I double click the modules. It opens module 1. Module 1 is what I was working on. So I'll give it a click, a double click. And it shows me all the code we are writing in our macro. While we are working, Excel was writing this code in our macro. You see it from sub, the name of our, this thing was format headers, to format headers in macro, to the description, this macro add headers and sum, the total of the months up, to our keyboard shortcut, which is Ctrl J. Everything it does, Excel was recording it. Everything it does, Excel was recording it. So if I come here now and say, for instance, okay, let's say, for instance, I want to write the full, this month, I want to write them in full. Let's say that's what I want to do. And I just come here, I change it to January. I come here, I change it to February. And March, I change it to March. I can just come here and click run. Then I close that up. So you can see my macro has changed automatically to January, February, March. So anytime I run this macro now, I can just go ahead and rerun the macro, Ctrl J, and you see that it has changed. So anytime I run this macro now, this is what it does. So that's just a quick opening to the VBA. Maybe in a later course, we'll touch more of the VBA. Also attached to this course is 101 already made VBA for you to use. So you see the VBA is another, the visual basic application in Excel. Very exciting to work with. So this is where we call it a close for this course. I'm sure it's been insightful. You've learned as much as you should learn and as much as I want you to learn. Thank you for staying with us. And over time, we'll be bringing more courses your way. And thank you so much for watching this and for being part of this course. My name is Osagie. Until I see you again, keep excelling.